Hi, my name is Samantha George, and today we are going to be talking about PM benchmarks in literacy. So, what does the PM benchmark assess? It assesses students' reading levels, behaviors, and reading skills in the elementary school years. And who can administer it? Usually it'll be administered by educators within a school setting. So, how do these educators administer this assessment tool? So it's usually during class time. The educators would use running records, blackline masters, and high frequency word checklists. So what does the score tell us after we've collected the assessment? So the assessment will indicate how many words were decoded correctly from the book that the students were reading. Students are then required to have 90% accuracy to advance to the next reading level. And on the side, you can see this is an example of a running record where the educator would check off words that the student was able to decode correctly, and then notes were made if the child read the word wrong, if the child was able to correct themselves, or if they needed assistance. And then at the bottom, the scores were collected, and you have notes for accuracy rate, error rate, and self-correction rate. So what does the PM benchmark say with research? So in regards to reliability, I found very limited research on it, but what I did find interesting about what they were saying about reliability was that the repeated exposure to testing material may cause some discrepancies in the reliability of the tool, meaning that if students were exposed to a certain book repeatedly, instead of developing decoding skills, they may have just memorized the text. Some sensitivity or specificity of this tool would be that the more exposure to schooling and the age of the student would determine how well the student would do on the benchmark, meaning that if they were in school for more years and their age would go together compared to being at a certain reading level just because of the grade that they were in. Also, the length of testing affects the score. So the longer the test, the poorer the students do on the assessment. So some pros and cons of the PM benchmark. So for pros, educators can incorporate reading levels into their lesson plans. It allows for educators to create differentiated instructions for different levels of students, and it reduces the frustration for students because of the gradual changes in levels. So as the student moves on to the next level, there will still be a large chunk of words and decoding skills that they've already mastered while they learn new skills. Some cons of the PM benchmark are that the reading levels have a primary focus on decoding ability and are not always sensitive to the comprehension skills of the students. Also, as students move on to display proficiency in the targeted areas of that level, they can move up, but are not allowed to move up if they display that they want to. So if they have a need to try harder books, they can't move up unless they've displayed proficiency in the targeted areas of that level. Students are also limited to the reading level books that they have, and it reduces their choice of books that are maybe in their interests, have related experience to, or can create meaningful connections to other texts just because those books are not in their level. So my opinion on the PM benchmark tool is that I think it is a great resource for teachers due to the fact that it's quick and easy to administer. It is standardized, so if I needed my co-teacher or my co-teacher needed me to switch off and continue doing PM benchmarks in our full day kindergarten class, both of us know exactly what to do. The scoring will be the same. There's no real bias to creating the answers. So I think it is a great tool for especially teachers who are working with other teachers very closely. And the scores are very easy to assess, which is helpful when you have a class full of 30. And as the tool continues through grades. It's easy to send the students with their level to the next grade, and teachers can then move forward from that spot. And they're not starting a whole new reading program with different levels, with different skills that they have to learn. And the students will be more comfortable because they'll be exposed to the same type of testing throughout their education. And these are a few of my references. I hope that my PowerPoint was helpful in teaching you a little bit about PM benchmarks and getting some information on them. Thanks.